It's a fact, it's a thing we can't deny, like the fact that I will love you till I die. Look at me standing here on my own again. I'm straight in the sunshine, no need to run and hide. It's a wonderful, wonderful life. This is the closest thing to crazy I have ever been. Feeling 22, acting 17.
I'm a singer-songwriter. I have been making records since I was 19 years old. I started, I was just a baby, and I got very lucky with the people that I worked with and met. And they put me in the most extraordinary side of the English music making world. And so I've made many records. I'm releasing my 8th album now. And of course, through the years, I have been able to gain, I guess, the creative autonomy that you need, the courage that you need to, to become your own artist.
Your longing is gone. It doesn't matter what I do. Your longing is gone.
I started work with a brilliant producer and songwriter called Mike Batt. So I was 19 and he was in his 50s at the time. So he had like 30 plus years experience on me. So I got to really observe and watch how he worked. But it was interesting because I was also, the young girl. So I had the face and the name to kind of be the front of it. And with that came a lot of the strange pressures of, being in the public eye somewhat, being the one that does all the interviews, traveling, which of course is fun, but when you do it that much, it becomes quite difficult. And then finally, we stopped working together after 6 records. And so these last 2 albums that you mentioned, In Winter and album number 8, I have had to really look for myself and to really find a path. When I did finally have that freedom and that creative control, it was remarkable how much learning I had to do and how much I had to, figure out what kind of artist I needed to be. And the only way I realized I could do it was actually to go back to my home country of Georgia, where I met up with and collaborated with a brilliant choir out there called the Gory Women's Choir. And they really showed me over in Georgia this very different philosophy and a very different way of creating. And so I've now tried to bring some of that Georgian perspective into my new record here that was made here in England. And this is also a record that is a reflection of how I see this country. And it's not about politics in any way. I mean, it explores love, it explores passion, it explores memory. As the Georgian girl that I am, but who has lived and has been raised by England, that the artists in Georgia right now are having their first, from where I'm standing, their first kind of revival, because Georgia in the 90s was going through the dark decade where the country really suffered from the Soviet Union breakdown. And now it's as if, this artistic spirit is really coming to life. I think artists there are going through a very interesting revolution, and I just want to be part of that, but I also want to highlight the musicians and the artists that I work with here in England, who, they went through something like this, I guess in the 60s, like the post-war, and then when that revolution happened here. So there is a very different layer here in terms of the artistic scene. So I feel very fortunate that I have the ability to know both cultures really deep. I think it's so important. I think as someone who's a real traditionalist, like I just don't want it to completely die out. So I really believe in investing a lot of love and effort in that physical product so people can have that experience if they choose to. I think it's fantastic that we can also access everything so quickly, but to have the choice of a beautiful physical product, to me, is really important. It's so funny. I got asked that question yesterday by a friend who's a director. I don't believe that, that I'm meant to be doing anything apart from making records. I think the art of making records, of writing songs, having good lyrics in songs, it is a lot of work, and then finding a unique sort of angle of a record and to make a unique piece of work in this field that I already am in. It's I'm pretty busy. So, I think, but I have a huge respect for movies and I have a huge respect for actors, but it seems like a completely different job and one that I respect from a distance. I love JJ.
How'd you make a love?